All right,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Take one.
Hi, and welcome to Black in Business, where the possibilities are limitless. I'm your host, the Eunice.
And I'm Miss G. Today we're going to be adding to last week's episode where we talked about, are you sitting on your gifts? Today we want to explore, how do you apply your gifting to your business? Eunice,
Mhm.
in your opinion, what do you think is the best way to incorporate your gifting?
First, you want to know what your gifting is, because we talked a lot of scripture last week and talked a lot about how God gives us these gifts and talents so that we can use them. But we also got to understand we all have different gifts and talents. I think you are a great public speaker. Public speaking may not be something that me or other people want to necessarily do. I don't mind public speaking. I wouldn't call it my gift. I would say speaking about or teaching about the word, absolutely. But my gifting is the knowledge of the word. It's not necessarily being a public speaker. Yours is literally speaking and getting people to relax and to really open up their mind to think. So that would be a wonderful gift that you can incorporate in business. Something like that, you're a people person. You can not only draw them in, but you can cause them to think, and that's really cool. But I'm very good with teaching. So when I understand something, when I'm passionate about something, I want to give it to other people. I I'm really easily really good at that. So that's when it comes to like knowing products, when it comes to something I talked to you about about a I would you call it a vitamin that we have? And scientifically
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could tell you the breakdown of how this thing works. And it
Which I never thought about. Processing.
but since that was my gift, it enhanced your understanding of that topic.
Right.
That's what was on the inside of me, and it fueled into being able to talk about products from my business line. So it's really, really just important to understand what your gifts are and be comfortable with that, and then just take baby steps into starting to utilize that for your business. What do you think?
So I actually want to back up. I think sometimes people overthink whenever you ask someone what is your gifting. I think um, their thought process behind it is way too complicated, and I feel like in a nutshell, your gifting is just what comes natural to you.
Yeah.
Like you just said with public speaking, I wouldn't say public speaking is one of my giftings. However, I receive you saying it. I think that it is a blessing to not be what's the word, so engulfed with anxiety when I do public speaking, because there are plenty of people that, they have heart palpitations, their hands are sweating, and it literally gets to a point to where they can't speak, like
Mm.
their mind goes blank. I do feel like I do still get nervous when I speak publicly. However, I speak from my heart. So
Yeah.
oftentimes after I speak, if you ask me what I said, I can't tell you. However, I always ask, did I convey the message well or properly? Did you understand what I'm saying? Because I want you to hear what's on my heart. And
Yeah.
so I feel like if I'm too caught up in my head and caught up on specific words, then you don't hear my heart, because then it's so technical. Versus as long as I'm speaking from my heart, I always trust that the right words are gonna come. And then at the end, once I ask, like, if I got my message across based on the feedback, then I know, like, oh, okay, I must have did well because you got what I so But I absolutely received that, and um, thank you, because that was a good compliment. Um, but I also feel like it doesn't have to be something that's like so big. Like we were just talking about me making things cute. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
am a girly girl. Not to the point where like I get my nails done every week, but I just like making things cute. I like dressing cute. I like being cute. It's just a part of who I am. So when it comes to my business in particular, me making things cute because it's already a part of my personality, I incorporate that in my business. I think there are people that are naturally creative. I think I'm creative in certain ways, which we've discussed, beforehand. You're creative in certain ways. So being able to mesh the two together, we come up with amazing ideas and amazing concepts because that is our natural gifting. And so I do think that like people should like really take the weight of it, you know, off and just really figure out what do you naturally do that
Hmm.
you don't even think about,
Yeah.
and how can you apply that to your business? Because I think that's how you connect with people, and that's what makes your business unique. People are
Hmm.
going to connect with you based on your personality, and by you incorporating your gifting, it kind of strengthens that bond. Like with me making things cute, for example, if I make a basket for someone, me making it cute not only makes them feel special, but I appreciate it because I want it to be physically appealing. But then when they receive it, they understand like she put thought and effort into this. She didn't just put some stuff in the bag and hand it to me. Like she actually created, this visual, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, this visual gift, basically. Like I didn't just, it's not just like something that looks just tossed together. It's like well put together. And so I feel like making somebody feel special to me doesn't take away from me. Like I
Right.
adding to other people, which again goes back to the way that I was raised, being around older people. Um, giving my time, giving my effort, that doesn't cost me anything, but I can make someone's day. With me volunteering for Meals on Wheels, I've had so many people, ask like, why do I do that? Because I enjoy talking to older people. I enjoy doing things for older people because that's my core. Um, and you don't really think about just by you smiling at someone or by you doing something nice, by you creating, a basket for someone, you don't know whose day that made. You don't know who, may have had a bad day, may have had a bad week. And this one act of kindness makes them light up or makes them feel like they're on top of the world. And it's not something that I had to like stress over doing. So I
Mhm.
think by incorporating your gifting into your business, not only will it create like lasting relationships and friendships, but I feel like every overall. I hear echo.
I
Okay.
don't hear echo, but I do hear it going in and out just a little bit those last few seconds.
I don't hear it now, but I heard echo then.
Interesting. So I just want to point out, like when you're talking about you putting those baskets together, it's like visual art. It's beautiful. And yeah, the person, like what I was saying earlier, it seems like such a small gesture, but it can really make a person feel so valued and so seen and special. But I promise you, I could put in hours of work in that same basket and it would look like I threw the basket together because I'm not that kind of artistic person. And I'm okay with that I'm not. I will gladly use your gifts, utilize your gifts for my clients and vice versa. Um, but and that goes into it too. Like you can try, just ways, those small ways that where you can use whatever your gifts are to, I want to say, to just make somebody else feel more seen and feel special. That could be such an impact. those small things can be such a huge impact um, in somebody's life. And when you're using it for your business, it's like reciprocal because, of course, it's building community, it's building rapport and relationship with someone, it's building that connection. It is building your business, but your business actually has a purpose to it. So
It's
I love your
sowing
basket.
seeds,
Uh,
sowing seeds,
yeah.
because as you're putting energy and effort out, it's gonna show up in your business, at some point. When it'll show up, who knows? But as long as you continue to put out the goodness will come back.
Yes. And I like how you talk about it being a natural thing. And I think that's so true for me. And it's okay for us to for your gift to make you look different because we're not supposed to all be the same. But like since the first time I met you, you're like you are not you're not regular. What do you say?
You're not an average black person as
You're
well.
not the average black person.
That's what I
Very true. And I've heard that all my life. But
because
yeah,
it's true.
yeah. Yeah, but we don't have to be. And that's
Don't
the beauty of it. We do not have to be. But
And
I
this is not how we're designed. Like God made us different for a reason because we can complement each other. Like, like I was just saying with our creativity, if we were the same, we would have the same ideas. Whereas us being different, it creates a space where we can bring those ideas together and mesh them to what makes sense for our business and for what we're trying to do. And so I feel like it adds so much color to all the things that we do, because there are perspectives that I have that you don't, and vice versa.
yeah.
But then when we put the two together and now we create this bigger picture, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. But had we been more alike, we wouldn't get the same outcome. So I feel like then that it doesn't, there's no room for that magic to happen.
Mm-hmm. 100% true. And in fact, it reminds me of a compliment you got over the weekend that you were hosting an event for me because, of course, I wasn't in the States. And someone who came to the table, what did they say? I want to get it right. So you'd have to be the one to say it. That I had, what was it that they said? I had somebody good, but it was more than that
Um,
about you being a teammate or partner.
she said, let her know that she has a great support system
Yes. And
because
she knows.
we were showing up and showing out for you. So I was like, I
Absolutely.
will make sure I let her know.
Although she did already know and she did already give flowers, metaphorical flowers. I didn't send real ones, but yes, I do know what I have, and I appreciate that other people could see that because the opposite side of that is the jealousy or hoarding
Compet-
your gift. Huh?
Competition.
Yes, but and that usually is just your own insecurities. You don't recognize that you have an excellent gift that you were supposed to be able to shine in. You're too busy seeing somebody else's. Now, what for me, I used to sit for hours, sit outside in a tree, just observing. I loved it. I loved science. I loved nature, and I know. But I would literally, my mom would say, why is she sitting in that tree so long, and constantly calling me into the house because that was my thing. But I so easily have an appreciation for a lot of natural products that we sell. I again can see the breakdown and stuff because that was just the natural thing that was in me. So when I'm talking to a customer or client and I am boasting about how wonderful a product is that is organically grown and how it's preserved without it having chemicals and stuff, it's coming from my natural love of the environment. And no, you're not going to do that the way I will do that.
Right.
And
Right.
it's okay.
Right.
Like
Right.
I don't have to be nervous that I sound different because my gift makes me look different.
Right.
You bring so much great product knowledge to it, and I easily bring just natural knowledge to it, that the people we serve get a very well-rounded customer experience.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be scared that your gift or your talent makes you look weird or odd. You just find a way to step into it, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Like, for instance, you make excellent baskets. We've already said that, but that can make so many other connections that blooms into so many other things.
Right. And
That could be a baby step.
by you fully embracing your gift, you don't know who you're inspiring to embrace there
Yeah,
and what that's going to look like as far as you collaborating with that person or what that looks like down the line. Maybe you embracing your gifts allows them to find their gift or allow them
absolutely.
to feel comfortable with embracing their gift. And then so much can come of that. So, like we always talk about, the possibilities are limitless.
You really
I feel like when you truly operate in what God gave you, your brain can't even fathom these many outcomes that are possible. But by operating in your gifts and freely giving those gifts. Now, I want to give a disclaimer when I say freely giving those gifts. I am definitely an advocate for giving your gifts to people that not only will receive them but will appreciate them.
Yeah.
Now, what I've had to learn through trial and error is that I freely give my gift to everyone that I meet because that's who I am. That's, again, it's a part of my core being. However, everyone is not deserving of my gift. Everyone does not appreciate my gift. There are plenty of people that you can give your gifting to or share your gifting with, so to speak, and they'll completely lay it down by the wayside because they're not interested. And so the energy and effort that you put into sharing your gift with them, it goes unnoticed. Whereas you have someone else that's somewhere else that not only is praying to meet a person with this gifting, but is literally just waiting to meet the person so they can say, oh, this is how I can add to your gifting because I can do this. And so I am an advocate for freely giving or sharing your gifting, but you have to learn to have the discernment of the proper people to share it with because everyone, although created equally, don't operate equally. So the people that aren't going to appreciate it, that's a waste of time for you and that person because it's no longer going to be um, a gift for you to share with them if they're not ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to feel like, well, I've given you so much energy and effort, but you don't even appreciate it. So then you're going to feel cheated. So I do feel like, which I've stated before, there are so many people that fit into your puzzle, but you don't know it until you meet them. You don't know it until you start conversations and you start sharing your gifting, and then they share their gifting, and then you're like, oh, listen, we fit like a glove. But
Right.
you gotta share it to find
You
that
got
out.
to share it. Absolutely. Yeah, and there are people who just you doing what you do will give them the courage to say, "Oh, I can do that," or "Oh, I can do what's inside of me." It so many people who I would say um are more recognizable in my demographic, in my community of people who are more popular, who are more uh outgoing. The most interesting thing is some of those same people who are more out there have come to me over our lifetime, and they say I inspired them. And that is so interesting to me. But they're like, I see you doing this, I see you stepping out. Like, so they see that, and it gives them courage, even though you probably wouldn't think of it. But that's what I mean. I can't make it up. Well, I could, but I'm not. So just even stepping into your gift, even you looking odd or different, is going to encourage somebody else to be able to do that. and
Right.
and and I think that is, and especially in business, you're already going to be seen because you're stepping out to run your business. But when you put your gifts into it, your heart and your passion into what you're doing, it's going to not only bring customers, but it's going to inspire people.
It's
And
gonna,
really, huh?
gonna attract.
Yes, attract them. And that's really what we're here for, is to help each other and to build each other up and to be a community. So step out in that gift is so relevant and so important.
It
It
absolutely
is time for us to go.
is. Why?
You didn't hear the ding.
I feel like every time I'm like, we just get started. You like, and that's our time. It just feel like we just been talking like 5 minutes though.
I know it does, but it is time. It's so good. And we're going to keep adding on to this conversation because in our next episode we're going to talk about being selfish with your gifting, being selfish and self-centered and self-focused, and how does that hinder your business?
This will be our first 3 part.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, it will. Look at us.
right, we've come so far.
We have.
Well,
But it is, speaking of constantly going, it's
on
time.
that note, if you have enjoyed this episode, if you heard anything that is helpful, or you feel you know someone that it could help, please like, share, comment, and subscribe because we are changing lives all 2025. We do want you to be a part of the conversation. So if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you're not comfortable leaving a comment, our email is at the bottom of the Eunice's box. You can email us and we will respond because we don't want to just be a 2-man dialogue or 2-woman dialogue because clearly we're women. We do want you to, give your feedback, hear other perspectives, and see, other people's thought process. So definitely feel free to chime in. And I believe we don't have anything else. So we will see y'all next week for part 3. And scene.
Perfect.